congratulations
Thanks.
having a fiance now. I'm sure there's
Thank
a lot
you.
of broken-hearted women out there who
I
are
don't
just
know.
discouraged and sad by that news, but I'm happy for you.
Thanks. How you been, man?
I've been good, dude. I'm busy. I'm excited to see you. Are you still gonna come to the Ableton event?
Yeah. I'll be around for sure. I'll make sure I'll go to that.
It'll be a really fun one. No, dude, I appreciate you joining the pod, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I love your music. I've been listening to you for a very long time.
Wow, thank you.
You've had kind of a wild journey. You studied finance back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And you decided that was not for you and you dropped out of school, and apparently you got denied from several music schools, so jokes on them. And then you kind of moved into your Louis Vuitton, which is like, it started out as a duo, right? It wasn't just you.
It did. Yeah. It was me and my best friend at the time, Logan. You're pretty much spot on with everything. I was in and out of bands through high school, and I was in like a 5-piece band, and then we made another band that was like a 4-piece band, and then we made another band that was like a 3-piece band. And then me and my buddy Logan, who we were in all these bands together, were like, well, let's just make electronic music, right? So it was me and him, and then we decided to part ways. I went to him and said, look, I feel some momentum with this project, and I'm going to drop out of school. I know we were going to our senior year of college. I don't know. It's an irrational decision for sure. You know what I mean? You're about to get that degree, but I just felt like, I was studying marketing and finance at the time. And I just felt like this was my calling, in that I was actually still trying in school, but at the same time, I was spending all my nights making music, and that I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. So he stayed in school, and he's doing amazing, and we're still friends. But I just kind of hit the ground running, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Happily ever after.
Yeah.
When did you first start dabbling in Ableton Live?
I want to say like 5 years of my electronic music career was kind of built on Machine. I used Machine, the production software, to make all my songs and remixes up until, I want to say even like maybe 2015 or 2016. And then it just got too confusing to, like, the songs that I wanted to make were... Because if you're familiar with the Machine's layout, it goes by scenes, and you have to basically make arrangements in little scenes. And then if you want to transition out of that scene, you'd have to put like a little transition at the end and then go into another scene, which was fine for me for a couple of years. But then I was just like, this is getting out of control, because these projects that I was making were not built for Machine. And so that's when I was like, let me try out Ableton. And it was pretty easy. It was a pretty easy transition, I'll say.
Machine did a really good job of having amazing stock sounds. Like a lot of their presets and sounds were pretty solid, which is, I think, why a lot of people got into it. And it was pretty easy and intuitive. But I found once you started running Machine in Ableton, like the workflow got weird. And I had a bunch of students who wanted to do that. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just stay in Ableton.
Yeah.
But I mean, is Machine still like doing new stuff?
I could be wrong on this. I think K Tronada used Machine... He still might use Machine to do his productions. I'm not sure, but
yeah, by Native Instruments, which Native Instruments is like acquiring a lot of people. Like they just bought Isotope, and so there's been some changes there for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, the latest software version is Machine 3 now, and it includes stem separation now. Some new improved MIDI tools and expanded sound library. It has a standalone unit Machine Plus, which you can run without a computer. So that's cool. Yeah, so I guess they're still going. I really haven't heard much, but that's
it is really cool. I mean, and especially when I remember they didn't even have side chaining, and then the update that they included side chaining on, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah. So I don't know, I almost think of it as like training wheels for Ableton, because there's so many restrictions if you want to use a software like that. It was such an easy transition, because Ableton is just wide open with all of its features and accessibility options.
Yeah, it's a black hole for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've produced with a lot of other artists and for a lot of other artists, specifically Cherub, which that's actually how we met, was at the Cherub show in Boulder, I don't know, a month ago. That was a great show. That was a lot of fun. First time I seen them live, and I love those dudes. The new album that you produced with and for them slaps. It's a fantastic album.
Thank you.
You also produced the newest EP for Armani White.
His new album coming out October 31st, this Friday. I produced a lot of stuff for him in the past, and then he kind of blew up with his song Billie Eilish, obviously.
Yeah, that was huge.
Which was not produced by me, but we're like best friends. Like we know each other from Philly. We kind of unintentionally took a break. Like I just moved out to LA. He came out to visit me a couple times, and we were still working, but then we kind of went our own separate ways a little bit. He came out with Billie Eilish and then was on a little run, and then hit me up and was like, "Hey, I love you. I want to work with you again, and let's do this album." So that's how that kind of came to fruition. Nice. But
yeah, I would love to nerd out a little bit of your process in collaborating and producing for another artist,
for sure.
Because I feel like it looks probably a little bit different for everyone.
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, Cherub, their most recent album, which I absolutely love. What did that production process look like? Did you guys just start completely from scratch? Were you like sending each other stems or demos?
But it's actually hilarious. I think it's funny. I don't know. Maybe other people won't. But I came out with an EP in 2023, called Acrobat. And it was basically the first project that I put out featuring me singing and songwriting with my songwriting partner, Ariel Schrum. I had met Jason and Jordan from Cherub in the festival circuit a couple times, but we don't really remember meeting each other. I don't know. It was just like one of those like cloudy interactions so long ago. You meet so many people at festivals that you forget or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was Jordan who heard that EP and then hit me up and was like, "Hey, this might be a long shot, but you know, we're thinking about making a new album and was wondering if you would be down to produce it for us." I was like, "Hell yeah." So the next steps were getting us all in a room together. So it was tough because Jordan lives in Thailand. He lives in Chiang Mai. But Jason's family has a property on a lake somewhere in North Carolina. They thought that would be a good space to kind of set up a studio and make the album. And so I told them I'm super down. Let me bring my songwriting partner, Ariel Schrum, who is amazing. And we just work so well together. And I was like, I promise you guys won't be disappointed. So they flew us out and we all got together in that cabin in North Carolina. And we had 2 weeks blocked out basically for the entire album. And the expectation going into this project was that they had songs for me to produce out already. They had not worked with another producer in person in a while, so it was a little bit, they I wouldn't say nervous, but they just didn't know how it was going to go. They had only really worked with one producer their entire career, and so he had kind of brought a bunch of demos and ideas to the table already. I was like, these are great, but we have 4 of us in a room: me, Ariel, Jordan, and Jason. Let's try and see what we can come up with. So we ended up writing basically the entire album from scratch in 7 days. And there was actually a couple that didn't make the album. Only one of the songs that Jordan brought to the table made the cut. And they're great songs. And I'm sure we'll work on them at a later point. We just kind of wanted to feel the energy of like what it was like to create something from scratch in this beautiful location. And it ended up being, the production went as such. It was the first 7 days we just went crazy and we wrote the entire album. And I had basically the rough fleshed out production and most of the arrangements kind of already fleshed out. Now I knew that it was going to be tough to record vocals remotely if he's in Thailand. Jason lives in Nashville and now Vancouver. So I was like, all right, look, first 7 days, I didn't plan it like this, but it just worked out so well because we had wrote like 12 or so songs in the first 7 days. And I was like, okay, I'm cutting us off. Like, these songs are great. Let's spend the next 7 days tracking vocals. So the next 7 days were just literally all day, every day tracking vocals. And we were able to get all the vocal tracking done for the entire project, aside from a feature from Molly Moore and maybe a couple of additional vocals, but most of the, like, literally 99% of the vocal tracking done in 7 days. We were so happy with what was done at that cabin. The only other things that needed to be done were me to take the project home and just polish everything up in the next couple months. And that's what happened.
So when you're tracking like all those vocals up front, did you have like a fully fleshed backing track with them, or were you just like,
yeah,
here's a key and we're just going to build around it later?
We had all the productions kind of they were just demos of the production. And yeah, so we had kind of and while we were tracking vocals too, for example, this song Long Story Short, Jordan over time, I mean, and this a lot of live singers experience this, but Jordan's range from the first project that they did to this project has decreased because singing live takes a lot out of you to, getting older, whatever reason. So we originally recorded the song Long Story Short two semitones higher than we landed at. So basically we recorded the entire song, all the backing vocals, all the ad-libs, whatever, everything in 2 keys higher. And then that was supposed to be the original key. And then we listened back the next day. We're like, something feels off. So we ended up scrapping all that, pitching everything down to, and then tracking the whole song to 2 keys down. And it worked out. But so there's like some obstacles that we faced while we were tracking vocals, and arrangement wise, we also figured some things out, like, some things in your head might work out, but then when you actually go to record and get things down, things change, and you have to be kind of flexible in that.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, a lot of times I'm sure artists come to you and they're like, this is our vision or whatever. Do you find that you just naturally bring some of that Louis Vuitton sauce, like your own flavor, into the pot? Or do you try to like constantly stay with their vision, or like a little bit of both?
That's a good question. I think as a producer for someone else, their vision always comes first, and you find ways to kind of put your own touch on it for sure, but you have to build that trust first. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously have to trust your taste and say, no matter, you have to be really confident and say, no matter what I choose to do is going to be dope. But there's certain decisions that you just have to mentally be like, okay, let me just massage this right now. Let me show them that I can do what they want me to do. It's especially important in like bigger sessions. Like, I experienced that when I was in the studio with the Jonas Brothers about a year ago. And I was, you don't want to really insert yourself until you kind of find your footing and just really show them that, you're there for them, and you are there for them.
Right.
But it's this interesting kind of dynamic where it's really a push and pull of like, okay, because you don't want to be like overbearing with your choices. You want to create something together. But a lot of times the artist has such a strong vision that you want to show them that you can execute that vision, but also add your own touch. So I would say once there's that trust kind of built, and you feel, and it's just something that you feel with another artist, and they might communicate that as well. I don't know, in certain body language, or like they might just tell you, yo, this is dope. And then another choice you make, yo, this is dope. And then you make another choice and they're like, yo, man, this is fine. And then you're like, okay, cool. Okay. They're comfortable with my choices. I'm now confident that I can kind of add my own pizzazz, and they're with whatever I do. And because you have to show them first that you're there for the song. The song is its own thing that both of you have to almost take yourselves out of and serve this higher thing. Not to get spiritual, because it's not. I don't think of a song as spiritual, but I'm saying like it is this kind of aura, this unspoken thing that you both are kind of working towards, and you have to give up pieces of yourself in order to compromise and make decisions together.
Hey, quick announcement I wanted to share with all of you. I launched a new merch store. If you want to go grab some nice quality tees, some hoodies, some sweatshirts, a coffee mug. I had a lot of fun designing these. We've got shirts that say live, laugh, luffs, quantize and chill, a lot of other really fun producer memes. We got that nice cotton polyester blend, some really good quality shirts. So check it out if you go to abletonpodcast.com/merch, or check out the link in the show notes. Use the discount code podcast to save a little bit of money. A few of the items are limited edition, so grab them while you can before they disappear. And this is honestly one of the best ways that you can support me and the podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, this will really help me out to keep making episodes like this one and a lot more. So check out the merch store, and much love for listening. That's really well said, man. Like in all the collaborations, in my experience, like that's very true. You got to like set the ego aside and be like, let's just make something beautiful.
Yeah.
That's usually when the best stuff comes out, in my experience.
Agreed.
And having fun in the process too.
100%.
That, like, otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think that's important. It's important to and taking your ego out of it, and also honestly getting out of your own habits. Like it's important to kind of come in with. I think it's important, like, to come in with like a couple backup ideas or whatever. Maybe if something's not working out, but most of the time, I find that if you just go in and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna try something completely new, just go in fresh, and not do the things that I normally would do, or like, you know what I mean? Just get out of your own habits and just like really be as present as possible and try and make something new. Something great will come out of that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Makes sense to me. One other question I have, and I feel like I hear a different answer for this question for a lot of people, is when you say hit a wall, say you're collaborating with somebody in the studio, working on a track or an album, what are some things you've learned to try to break out of that death loop, or you feel stuck in some way? Like, what are some things that people could take away?
Yeah, I think maybe coming in with like I said, coming in with a backup idea, like kind of just, and that could be like a melody that you have in your head that you just voice memo. It could be something as simple as that, but just something to kind of get the juices flowing, like a spark. And it could just be starting something new completely. It's like some sessions I have, we start like 3 ideas, and the third one is the one that ends up working out, or that we're both feeling the third, because it's almost like your guard is down. Like the first 2 ideas, maybe you're both kind of a little reserved. It's like I very much relate making music with someone as, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's like having sex with someone. It's a very intimate experience, and you're sharing yourself, and you're both just like should I make the first move, or I mean, you're just like, it's just this kind of like,
it's a weird dance.
It's a weird dance where you just are both kind of flowing through this space together, and figuring out your rapport and what's going on. So by that third idea, the guard is down, and maybe you both can relax and create something, that you're both happy with. I usually find that just as time goes on, and this is why a lot of people like to, including myself, just get to know someone before a session, or beforehand, or get coffee with them, or, just, I don't know. And then going back to the sex analogy, that's very true. I mean,
you gotta warm up before just diving in,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, I'm about to collab with somebody in like 2 hours, and now I'm going to think about sex the whole time.
That's what I was trying not to do, but
he's a good friend though. It'll be fine. We're close enough. We've got a lot of history together. So
okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wish the best for you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Do you often mix a lot as you're producing, or are you just trying to like throw stuff to stick at the wall as fast as you can? Are you trying to polish it as you go?
I think there's a balance, no pun intended. There's a balance to be had when it comes to mixing, because there's certain mix decisions that you almost have to make in order to see if an idea is going to work out. You know what I mean? Like, you might not know if an idea is dope until you're just like, hold on, just let me try and fit this in the mix first, and it might be cool. I don't know. So there's that level of mixing, and then there's also just a general level of mixing, especially if you're with another artist, and you're trying to get a bounce out that day. It's like you want it to sound as good as possible, but you're constrained by time, obviously. So you just have to work very fast to level things out to a certain point in order to get like a demo bounce out, at least, and then as you kind of work through the project, if you're not together and just kind of working on your own or whatever, you're mixing as you go and hearing things as you go and be like, okay, I could lower that, I could do EQ this, EQ that, whatever, and get it to a certain point to send it off to mixing and mastering. Because I like to collaborate with my good friend Jacob Weinstein on mixes and masters, because I think it's I don't know. I just like having a second pair of ears on things. I like having an outside perspective.
For sure.
So yeah, I try to get it to a certain point where at least I have a reference mix at the end where I can say, hey, go off this, and it's definitely not perfect, but like the energy of this, there's something about it, and I can kind of pinpoint notes from there. But
yeah, I'm kind of the same way too. I always like to get other ears on tracks before I release them, and it's fun. Like mixing is kind of its own creative art in itself, because like no mixes are going to sound exactly the same. Like you can, even for yourself, because it's just like the samples you're using, the way you record it. It's like, I don't know. And it's so subjective, right? You could hear two different mixes and you're like, these sound great, but they're not the same from two different people.
100%.
I've talked with a lot of people on the podcast about this. Is like a good song trumps a great mix every time.
I agree.
It's funny because you might feel the same way, but I listen to a lot of old tracks from like college that I used to love, and I listen to them now. I was like, these mixes are trash. They're so bad, but I love the song, so it didn't even matter. Yeah.
I think there's a you have to kind of let go at a certain point. I think if you're too close to the song, I always think about that, right? I what you just said, I do think about, because I am a bit of a perfectionist. And there's a certain point where, what's that quote? It's like, art is never finished. It's just, art is never complete. It's never, you can always do more and more things to it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of relinquish control at a certain point and be like, you know what? This sounds good enough.
Yeah, true. Well, you do mix a lot of like live instruments with electronic sounds, which is kind of my happy place. I do a lot of that myself.
Nice.
That's like my favorite music, because it just kind of has like that raw analog live element with like the sonic capabilities of electronic music. What are some of your like favorite instruments? Maybe we could talk about Ableton stock instruments, hardware, and then plugins or VSTs.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I just got a free Craigslist piano. Well,
Nice.
It was free, but I had to pay for the pickup and everything. But
nice. Congrats.
I really thank you. It's been a huge revelation in my life, miking that thing up and getting it tuned. And
do you tune it yourself?
I don't.
Okay.
I have someone tune it, and then I obviously love playing guitar and bass. But in terms of like Ableton stock stuff, like I mean, operator is just like my go-to kind of thing in Ableton, like you can't beat operator for like any kind of sound, really. I mean, I love using it for especially just kind of like a glidey sine wavy chord all the time.
It's insane that was released in 2005 and it really hasn't been updated since.
That's gnarly, man. I mean, hey.
it's had some improved like filters and envelopes and routing, but it's pretty much the same overall.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Swiss Army knife for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, operator. Any other Ableton instruments that you've played with that you like?
Ableton instruments. I use things as I go, where I'll be like, I want just kind of like a stock kind of piano sound for like maybe like a housey kind of thing, or like using like the Ableton stock guitars as they're really good like basses for like plucky kind of things, and you can reduce the decay on it and just kind of create this aura around that. And recently I'm on the new beta Ableton 12.3.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
I was on 11 because I was afraid to really switch over, and then I finally switched over, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome,
dude. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love 12. What guitar are you talking about? Is that like a Paak, I assume? Like a guitar Paak in Ableton?
Dude, I don't even know, to be honest. I just search. I'll just like search guitar, and I think it's the nylon.
Okay, there's the guitar and bass Paak, which is cool.
Oh, I don't know if I have.
Yeah, it's got like some like electric bass presets. They're pretty decent.
Oh, I got to try that out.
The guitar ones are like kind of they're okay, but
no, I know they're okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that you can kind of make them like
if you
the nylon mute guitar.
Okay, yeah. I haven't played with that, but I see it. It's by Plucked Strings.
If you like arpeggiate out some chords,
Nice. Okay, sick. I always love finding new packs. I feel like that's a giant gold mine of just stuff in the packs.
No, I know. When I updated my my Ableton, they always like at the bottom, they're like, get this pack and get this pack. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, especially when you can access all of them. Like certified trainers can play with all of them. And I have like so much computer space taken up just from packs I'm never going to use probably. But you can always right click and uninstall it.
You know what I've been abusing lately is the feedback audio effect. Have you used that?
The feedback audio effect?
Yeah, basic feedback.
Is that a preset?
It's in Core Library, Audio Effects, and Roar.
Oh, I love Roar. Okay, yeah, sweet. I'm gonna save that.
Yeah, man. I use it a lot for like a trippy little like kind of transition thing that you can do. And what I'll do is just I'll just put it 100% wet on whatever I'm working with, and then just record that and just kind of mix it in and work with like that audio and kind of mangle it even more, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love doing something similar with the have you played with Pitch Loop?
No.
Oh, you got to play with Pitch Loop. It's free with I think it was free with 11 suite, or maybe it came out with 12. I think it came out with 12.
Okay, I see it. I can get it. Wow.
There's a preset in the Pitch Loop 89 pack, and it's called Drum Glitch A or Drum Glitch B. And a lot of times I'll throw that on a return track. And if I'm doing like a drum fill and I want kind of like a feedback glitchy throw, like I'll throw a send to that on a return. Yeah. That's sick. Really fun. But it's a really fun one. The Pitch Loop 89 is like replicating a real pitch delay machine.
Right.
That and for mixing the color limiter. I've been talking about this a lot lately, but I am obsessed with the saturator and the color limiter. If something just needs like more balls or some girth, like throw it on there and just turn up the saturator. It's crazy. It's so fat and analog-y.
The color limiter.
Yeah.
Is that in the saturator?
No, the color limiter is a Max for Live device that everybody should have. It's in the creative extensions.
You're putting me on to some stuff.
the creative extensions pack.
Okay, cool.
It's in there, which is also a fantastic pack. There's so much in there. That came out in 11, I think, or maybe 10. It might have been 10.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to get that right after this call.
But this is why I do this podcast, because I love learning stuff like this.
Yeah, man.
What about effects, like stock of like audio effects? Any other go-tos for you?
Go-tos, love the chorus. I mostly use Ableton's chorus and sometimes like Dimension D from Arturia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then
Dimension D from Arturia.
Yeah, they have that and one other chorus. I forget what it's called, but they have some nice effects. But I've been recently trying to really use Ableton's stock stuff. So I've been using Ableton's saturator, Ableton's phaser and flanger is really nice.
Yeah.
And obviously like AutoPan for so many different things.
And it got a new update in 12.3, which is really nice.
What's that?
It's the AutoPan tremolo.
Oh yeah. Which is really nice. That's an update that's been waiting to happen. I feel like a lot of people have been asking about that. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because you can put it in like tremolo mode now, so it like modulates the volume and the level. It gives like that classic tremolo kind of effect,
which is great because I use Trem Control by GoodHertz. And now I don't have to.
Yeah, so much good stuff in there with the new. Yeah, I'm excited for 12.3. Have you played with the stem separation at all?
I have. It does a good job. Surprisingly. Not surprisingly, but it's like usually like the first time a company will implement something, there's
bugs.
It's not perfect. So
yeah.
I was surprised at how well it was able to do that.
Yeah, me too. Ableton partnered with Moises
Okay, cool.
So it's basically, I believe it's Moises's algorithm that's running inside of Live now.
Sweet.
But it does a pretty decent job overall. If you choose like high quality mode, it just takes a while depending on how long the audio is. I feel like it's a little slow.
Yeah, I only do little snippets. I forget for what I was doing it for, but it does a really good job, I think.
What about like virtual instruments, like VST instruments?
I'm always like going to new VSTs. I mean, I have my staples. Like a Diva, surprisingly, Sylenth. We talk about old programs that like an operator or something. It's like, but it's like operator. It's like this thing that I kind of learned sound design on, and just it's so easy for me to. Well, I've moved to really Serum too for everything, but if I want something like super quick and super simple, I'll just like still go to Sylenth because I don't know, for some odd reason I just really connected with the UI. It was like my first plugin where everything clicked. I was just like, oh my god, everything makes sense. Everything's right here.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Serum 1 when the Serum came out. I was like, wow, this is easy and nice.
Yeah, I just got Serum 2 and I'm still working my way around figuring out everything, but it's a lot more intense than Serum 1, which is great. But there's a lot of other moving pieces, which means there's a lot more capabilities. Like it's exciting for sure, learning a new VST like that. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I like using contact libraries. I like using Atlas for like a drum rack. If I can switch up, kind of like if I have, it's great for starting ideas. If anyone doesn't know what Atlas is, it's kind
I'm
of
not
like
too familiar.
It's just like think of like a virtual beat pad where you can load sounds in, and it'll have like slot 1 dedicated to a kick, slot 2 dedicated to a snare, slot 3 dedicated to a clap, and so forth. And then you can load your own folders in, and then you can just be like, I want everything new, or I just want the kick to be new, but you pull from the folders that you tell it to. So you can kind of organize folders and be like, look, these are my live sounding drums, or this is a kind of a more trappier drums, or this is like an EDM kind of thing. And so it makes looking for drums maybe not easier, but a lot more fun, especially when you're starting ideas and just trying to get like a good drum loop going or vibe going. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I have to check that out. It's by Algonaut.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It looks kind of like a game of Tetris.
Yeah. I mean, it's I like using it. I think there's something similar on the market now that people like to use. I think it's like XO by XLN Audio, maybe. But I just stuck with Atlas.
Yeah.
I like using some UAD stuff. The 76, the LA2A. I stopped using Autotune because I just had my God, I have so many problems with Autotune.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I'm going to air it out right here.
Do it, please do.
I mean, Autotune is great when it works, but the problem is I've had so many sessions. I think when they switched over to their subscription service and they created their own hub and everything, there's just something that's not connecting there. And I know I'm not the only person, because I talk to people who have similar problems where I have a whole session, right, with Autotune on maybe like 100 tracks or something. Like, everything's all tuned up, whatever, everything's ready to go. And then I'll come back to the session in a week and all my settings reset. And so I didn't know this. I think Daniel Allen told me a much easier way to do this, but I went and I had to retune all the vocals one by one manually, and not just for that project, but for every single song on the Cherub project. I had to do that.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
They have a lot of vocal stacks too in their music.
Yeah, so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna switch to Metatune by Slate, and I really like Metatune. And I used a lot of Metatune on Armani's new project as well. And I don't know if this is placebo, but he likes Metatune better than Autotune, or so he tells me. Just the way it sounds, and it does sound great.
I wonder why it's breaking like that. I wonder if it's like some kind of error. Do you have to be connected to the internet to use it, or is it just, I wonder if that's like
I think there's an error in communication of like, Ableton or whatever software is not communicating properly to the subscription hub, and it's saying that maybe it doesn't. I'm not subscribed, and then just resets my settings. There is one case where they sent me a file where I basically like reset my permissions on Autotune, the subscription hub thing. It was super weird. I'm just like, this is I'm sorry, but this is too much. Like,
doesn't sound like it's a DAW specific thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is, because my friend also has problems with it on Pro Tools.
Okay. Yeah. Well, have you played with Ableton's Autotune?
I haven't. Pitched me on it.
It's pretty decent. It has like a nice formant shifter in there that I think sounds really nice.
Cool.
So I like to use it for formant shifting, but
it's what's it called? Just pitch.
It's called Auto Shift.
Okay, Auto Shift.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty basic in what it does, but there's like, if you go in the LFO tab, you can do some really kind of weird like effects and stuff with it.
Cool.
But yeah, I like this thing a lot. I think that's the
one thing that Metatune doesn't do is formant shift. So it's nice to have a formant shifter.
Yeah, for sure. It's also nice because it has like a live mode, which just like reduces latency.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to use it for live performance.
Wow.
But I find if you have a lot of instances, I don't use live mode because I think it does taxes CPU.
That's how I do my I do my live show. I mean, obviously a lot of people do it this way, but I just use Autotune through. I know I was just talking smack on Autotune, but I still use the real-time version in UAD.
Yes, I love that. I think that one sounds fantastic. I've used that for previous tracks as well.
Works amazing.
Yeah, especially for live performance. That's actually what I do for live performance. It's a real-time advanced.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it works great.
It does.
I had this scare live, the first show in Denver, and that was my first show in 4 years. And I was just like, I had everything routed and I practiced everything. And I had me, my friend Ariel, and bass/guitar player Alex Gorcheski. And anyway, we had everything figured out, and I'm just using my UAD twin quad core. And we get to sound check, and I'm sending out my tracks through 3 and 4, and then my vocal through input 1, and just panning it to the left. And then input 2 is the metronome. And then for some odd reason, the front of house guy...
Just for your monitoring, right?
Yeah, just for monitoring. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And in theory, it worked out. And even in practice, I had a mixer and I tried everything out and it was working. And then come sound check, the front of house guy is getting everything through one. No. Everything was coming through one. Even the metronome. I was like, yo, this doesn't make any sense. How does this make any sense? And I was sitting there for literally, we went over... It was an hour and a half long sound check where I was just chat GPTing and Googling what the problem could possibly be, and couldn't find it. So
that's the worst, dude.
We ended up doing the show. I was like, you know what? We're just going to have to do this without a metronome. And I don't know. And I'm going to have to obviously mix it within my laptop, within like my send of microphone and tracks. I'm just going to have to adjust the microphone to track level myself. And a couple people told me, they were like, turn the mic up, like 2 songs in. And I was like, okay, thanks. No, but I was like, thank you, because I literally don't know. I mean, I could barely hear anything. So, dude. And then literally like, oh my God, it was,
I feel that.
The dreams that you have before performing, you're just like, you're in your dream and you're about to go on stage and you're just like, either you're like naked or you're just like, wait.
Yeah, or something.
Where am I? Like, you're like, wait, oh shoot, I didn't prepare anything. Like it was like that. I was like, this is a nightmare. And then like right as I was about to go on stage too, I use UAD to MIDI, and that you can basically change. It's a way for Ableton and UAD console to communicate with each other. So I have certain setting. Each song is a different auto-tune setting. Each song is a different kind of compression setting. Each song is whatever. And I had to turn off the compression, obviously, because in a live setting, you don't really want to compress your vocal too hard because it's going to pick up all of the extra noise in the room. But I still had the automation for the compression going on and off for the rehearsals that we were doing. And so I pressed play, and immediately it was just like feedback. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I paused. I was like, sorry. And then I just quickly just deleted all the automation, deleted the compressor completely off the U8, which I should have done in the first place. But, and then the show got off stage and everyone was like, yo, that was fucking sick, man. Yo, you killed. And I was like,
good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. In my head, I was like, that was the worst show ever, but it ended up going really well.
Well, as long as the people enjoyed it, that's all that matters, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. I've definitely had some scary moments in sound check and on stage. Yeah. Any other like wild show moments or tour stories?
Oh my God. I mean, like back when I was like playing a bunch of festivals, I don't know if this is as big of a problem because I haven't played an outdoor festival in a while, but obviously overheating is a huge issue, was at least a huge issue for I think I had like a 2015 MacBook Pro. And at every single festival that was outdoor, daytime kind of vibe, I had my biggest problem, and I should have just put this on my tech rider. I would just have to find a bunch of like either an ice bucket or like cold cans to hoist my laptop under, or on top of. Yeah, and so that was always like the issue. And dude, oh my God. Even still, like at Camp Bisco, I forget what year, maybe like 2019, with a full live band, the sound, my laptop just died. And
dude,
luckily I had a band, so I think we just like played, since it's in Scranton, Pennsylvania, we just kind of like played the Office theme song. It's like, shout out to the Office.
That's amazing.
But yeah, and then I forget what other festival that happened at. I had like 2 fans blowing on my laptop, and then like I'm talking about 4 ice cold Coca-Colas underneath my laptop, and still it would just overheat. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So that's all. I mean, it's not that like wild of a story, but
no, that's common though. It's you're not the only one. I mean, I've seen that happen. I mean, I used to carry around like a fan for my laptop that was like USB powered because of that. Like, you would think that like a lot of festivals and more shows we could factor in like the blazing sun on stage.
Right. I mean, a lot of like bigger touring artists have the Play Audios in place where they have contingencies in case your laptop dies.
Yeah, you got redundancy backups.
Yeah, exactly. But I could not afford one of those at the time.
Well, the nice thing of like if anybody has one of the newer MacBooks, like the Apple Silicon chips, they don't overheat nearly as easily as like older Intel Macs.
Right. That's nice.
Which is huge. So they just stay a lot cooler. There's no fan inside of them. It's just running off a chip. So that's definitely an upgrade.
I'll tell you another story that just came to mind is when I was on tour with GRiZ, I think in 2017, I was sick as a dog. I mean, some days you just got to be like, you know what, screw it, just gonna go on stage, whatever. I mean, obviously, I wasn't gonna miss that show, but I was so like disoriented, and I back then like my drums were like a huge part of the show, and like the intro, like I take out the drum stems in all my songs, and not all of them, but certain songs, it's like without the drums, it wouldn't sound good at all. And then I get on stage, and I'm playing this first song, and I'm just like kind of like a little dizzy and like whatever, and then the drum part's about to go up, and I'm like, oh shit. And I didn't have any drumsticks. So I bolted back to the tour bus. I swear to God, bro, I ran faster than I ever did in my life. Even it was like my MJ flu game, and I was just like, I need sticks, I need drumsticks, and then they're like, what? I was like, I need my drumsticks, and then someone handed me a pair of drumsticks, ran back, and I was just like, sorry about that, and then boom.
Nice. Did you not get a sound check at all? Like
I did, but like
you just carried them off stage with you. Like,
I think I must have just carried them off stage. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
There's so many like tour stories like that where I don't know. It's just you just gotta be prepared for the worst, and the more like everyone tries to prepare as most as they can in order to prevent things like that. I mean, that's a stupid thing that should probably never happen, but technical difficulties are bound to happen. You know what I mean? It's just like no matter how much you plan, they're gonna happen, and you just gotta accept it.
Yeah, that's true, man. And like I think that if you start to feel nervous and awkward, like the crowd's going to feel that way. But if you just roll with it and you're still having fun, I think people don't care. They're just like, oh, whatever. They're still having fun.
Yeah.
I have a worse drumstick story than that. I ended up throwing a drumstick in the hype of the energy with one of my biggest shows at that time. Instead of being a normal sane person that just lightly tossed it into the crowd, I like threw it really hard and hit some girl in the face really hard.
Oh my God.
She like fell down and I didn't see her the rest of the show. She was gone. The worst part is it was a broken drumstick. So hopefully I didn't like stab her. I think you would have gotten
a lawsuit by now.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, my friends like still make fun of me. They're like, dude, you're going to go to Ohio someday and some girl with an eye patch is going to just punch you in the face. Be like, it was you. It was you.
You just feel, you're just like, yep, I deserve that.
Yeah, I would take it. I would gladly accept that, honestly.
No, but that's the thing is like when you're it just takes experience to not do stupid shit like that. Like I've done stupid shit like that too. And you're just like in the moment, you're just like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're just like, I shouldn't have done that. You know?
Yeah. Anybody listening, don't throw sharp objects at people's faces. No. It's not a good idea.
It's hilarious.
A couple other quick questions. I want to respect your time. It's almost been an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, no worries.
One thing that you mentioned was Mr. Carmack was like a big influence. And I've heard interviews you talking about other people you've worked with. You've worked with a lot of really great artists. Are there any like production habits or tricks that you have borrowed from other producers over the years that you would want to pass on to other people?
Well, yeah, it's funny because, and I feel like I say that a lot. Yeah, it's funny because, and it's not funny at all, but
everybody has a filler word, dude. You wouldn't imagine the amount of likes and that I've heard in this episode.
This guy keeps saying it's funny, but this shit ain't funny at all.
Well, it's complete sidetrack. You did improv comedy, right? Are you still doing it?
It's funny because I never really did improv comedy. I came out to LA and I met my girlfriend. Whoa, not my girlfriend.
Fiance.
No, my fiance. That's
congratulations.
Feels weird to say.
It's great news.
Feels great to say. She was doing some improv in LA when I first moved out here, and it was when we were first talking, and I was like, I've never been to an improv show, and so I went to her like class improv show. It was like the first improv show I ever saw, and she swears it was awful, and I was just like, that was awesome. Like I'd never seen improv before, and it blows my mind how people can just make stuff up on the spot. And so I went to more improv shows, and then our favorite show was this show that Donald Glover used to be in, a troupe called Derek Comedy. They used to run shows at UCB Theater on Franklin, and we used to just go almost every Sunday. And then she worked at an improv theater for a little bit, so I would always watch her. And we're actually thinking about starting our own two-prov show now.
Nice.
Because we just love doing, I feel like that's why we fell in love with each other, is because we love doing bits with each other and just being ridiculous and elevating and saying perfect. Yes and everything. So while I've never done improv on a show, I mean, obviously playing live, you have to do a bit of improv, but yeah, I would love to. And we're kind of starting to plan that out now.
That's cool. I would love to see a show of that. I'm sure your fans would as well.
I think my fans know that I like to kind of fuck around on social media and do bits, and sometimes they don't know what's real, and what's not. For example, there was this video that I put out recently where I had just learned about this scam where people write just a ChatGPT written biography, full length book about famous people. And I'm not really that famous at all, but for some odd reason, there are 3 books written
I
about
saw
me
this.
on and being sold at. I actually think Barnes and Nobles took it down, but it's being sold at Walmart, Amazon, eBay. And some of my fans thought I was just doing a bit and just joking about this. I was like, yo, I swear to God, this is not a joke. And this is like, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm like kind of flattered that people think that I'm famous enough to write a book. Not just one book. I'm sorry, one book. Okay, but 3 books. All right, I'm not that important.
That's super weird and random. Like, do you have any hunches to like who did it or why? Or you mentioned something. You think it might be like AI generated or something?
It is. It's for sure AI generated. The artwork is all AI generated, and one of my fans tried to track down the author and the publisher, and they don't exist. It's like hard to see who is doing this now. I've learned that now that people have messaged me that this is a problem, especially with like kind of more famous people. If if you're a fan of someone and you want to buy a book on them, they will just throw in all this slop biographies, whatever to throw them off and to hopefully try and coax them to buy those. But yeah.
Weird. And it was like expensive. It was like $100 for your
$90.
biography.
Now, hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, my life is pretty, $90 is, I will say that's life. A steal. That's a steal for my.
It should be a lot more than that. Let's be honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, for sure, man.
People are trying to get me to like go after them legally. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. No one's buying that book anyway. So
you never know.
Yeah. Well, I actually am going to buy one, though.
I definitely would. If somebody did that to me, I would for sure buy a copy and just read it to see how like awful it is.
It's just slop, man.
I
bet you there's so much made up stuff in there.
Oh, for sure. It's like you were born with like 12 toes or something weird.
But yeah, back to your original question, which was about picking up little producer habits or techniques from other producers. When I first started producing, and a lot of people have similar experiences where there's that one artist or a couple artists that really truly inspire them to take the leap, not just to listen to music, but to try and make it themselves. And Mr. Carmack was that person for me, and honestly, like a whole generation of producers who came up on SoundCloud. I feel like everyone at the time, he kind of just like drove people to get on their laptops and try to make music. And so I tried to kind of replicate his sounds and just kind of play around and try and make some stuff that sounded like Mr. Carmack, because I thought that shit was like the coolest music out. And by doing so, I learned how to, sound design on Sylenth and produce in Machine, and by trying to like emulate how his drums would knock, or like how his mixes not even just sounded but felt like what was kind of like on top, like what's that, the drums are so important, just kind of like soft clipped or like saturated to death, and through kind of studying his productions, I kind of then took all of that as like a baseline knowledge kind of thing, and then went my own way, obviously. So I don't think there was anything specific that I took from him, although when you're learning to produce like your favorite producer, you just take little tidbits here and there and then learn how to use them in your own kind of way. Even to this day, I am always trying to learn. I'm always trying to pick up new things. And if you're doing a session with someone, or even if you're looking at someone produce on Twitch, you are just like in this thing, making decisions and saying, okay, I would normally do this. And your brain says, I would normally go to this thing, but this person next to me is actually going here. And that changes my thought pattern not just on a technical level of like what plugins I use, but like what decisions you make. And so even if you're watching someone on Twitch and you're just kind of following along them producing a track, it's a good exercise to kind of be like, okay, cool, we're at kind of ground zero here, and then we'll see where they go. Okay, here's where I would go. Oh, but they're going somewhere else with this. Oh, and then they're going and then here's where, you know what I mean? So it changes, not just obvious, there's obvious workflow changes that happen, like shortcuts that you pick up, or, plugins, like I said, but yeah, it's those kind of getting yourself out of your patterns.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's something to be said about not just doing the same thing over and over. It's like the definition of insanity, right? But like the music producer edition, getting out of your normal workflow. Rick Rubin talks a little bit about that and some of like his he talks about like setting parameters that force you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like not just in music, but like in life in general. Like I try to find like some kind of new hobby or something to like get out of my normal routine, because I feel like that's how I stay inspired. But the same thing is true for like workflow and music. That's why I love collaborating, is because I feel like I always learn at least one or two new things from somebody else.
Yeah.
And then I can apply that into my own creative flow, like in my own projects.
Yeah. And even if nothing comes out of the session, it's like you still are kind of coming out with just an insight, more insight, and you can still take away things. So that is why collaboration is so important, and just putting yourself out there, saying yes, especially if you're just starting out. Like the way I started out was collaborating with the community around me. And I still do that here in LA, but my community has just broadened so much. But even if it's like your homie or whatever, it's like, yeah, sure, come around, let's come over, let's fuck around and, make something and, see what happens. I don't know. Maybe you'll both try something new and pick up something and learn something. But with each session and with each time you touch your DAW, you're getting better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let me see. I had a couple other quick questions. Speaking of Ableton Live stuff, any features that you wish Ableton Live had that it doesn't? I always like asking this question.
Yeah, there's two that come to my mind. Have you heard of Shortcut Buddy?
Yeah, it's cool. Max for Live device.
It's really cool. It's not perfect. I mean, I would like Ableton just to implement like customizable shortcuts. Like I use DaVinci a lot in for video editing, and you're able to really fluidly customize your shortcuts. Shortcut Buddy is cool, but I've noticed a couple bugs in it. It gets the job done still. I just want to be able to kind of pull up everything and, I don't know, customize shortcuts, whatever.
Yeah, that would be super nice. I actually love that idea. I think, Shortcut Buddy goes only so far, and you can kind of hack it a little bit, but it's not as versatile. Like if you customize your macOS keyboard shortcuts with Ableton, right? Because you can go into like system settings and it's like keyboard shortcuts and then app shortcuts, and then you go into like Ableton Live and you can change like the menu commands.
Still, I will say shout out to Shortcut Buddy, because there is such a, I don't know, it changes your workflow for sure.
Yeah.
It's great. But I
was just going to say, if I have like an extra bum MIDI controller that I don't really use, I find that's awesome having a template with Shortcut Buddy.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Because then you just have that extra MIDI controller. If you have a desk space for it, then you can just like label the buttons, and then that button is just a faster way to load devices from the browser or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. I would say the other thing that I would like is, I mean, there's a few things, but I'd say one of the things that comes to mind right now is I saw that Ableton is implementing a bouncing groups.
Oh yeah, it's so sick. I love it.
It's sick. Can we take that one step further though and bounce it to a separate track? Because I don't want to, there's a lot of scenarios where I don't want to get rid of that group. I might want to go back and tweak some things. And so by bouncing the whole group and getting rid of all that stuff, I'd like to almost, just record that audio of the group and then still have the flexibility to go back in the group.
Interesting. I haven't thought about that, because if you just bounce to new track, then it keeps the previous track. It just mutes the clips. But if you bounce new if you bounce a group to a new track, it gets rid of the whole group.
That's what I've been seeing. I haven't actually tried it out, but
interesting. Yeah, I haven't either. I haven't actually tried. I know bounce group to new track.
Yeah, it gets rid of it.
It does. Interesting. Yeah. I guess the only workaround is you'd have to like duplicate the whole group.
Yeah,
and then
but if you have
group.
Like a lot of if it's a pretty like CPU intensive thing,
it might freeze up your computer if you've got like 100 tracks with plugins in that group.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great feature, but it's like just one step further, and it'd be like
that would be nice. One step further than that I would like to see in addition is once you do bounce it to a new track or group, that you could have an option to turn off warp every time you freeze and flatten or every time you bounce a new group. Because it always goes back to beats mode. Even if, and I actually talked to somebody on YouTube about this the other day in the comments, because somebody was like, well, no, you can go into your preferences and then you can change the default warp mode, but that doesn't apply when you bounce to new track or you freeze.
That's funny. That's funny that you said that. That is funny.
It's weird. The funny thing about
I haven't been able to. You're so right. I mean, I'm almost. I haven't been able to pinpoint my frustration with that, but I'm like, God damn it! Why is it always in beats?
It always goes to that default, even if your default's set to complex or whatever, which is interesting. Maybe we could like talk to Ableton about that on November 9th when you come. We'll just raise hell. Yeah,
they're gonna hate us, bro.
Start throwing chairs.
I'll let you lead the charge. I
will, dude. Like, we'll start a riot. We'll burn the place down.
I'm like, I don't even agree with Dan. I think everything's perfect the way it is.
It's perfect. Yeah. No, I have so much love for Ableton and everybody in the US office. They're really good people. So we won't do that. But yeah, man, I think those were like most of the questions I had written down.
Cool.
I do want you to shout out upcoming projects and things you want people to know about.
Yeah, cool. Well, I just, as we discussed, came out with a album. Well, I didn't come out with it. I produced an album for Cherub. Everything Changes and That's Okay. That came out, I believe, September 4th. Thank you. And yeah, it's pretty dope. We're all really proud of it. And I have, well, I don't have it, but Armani White is coming out with an album Friday, October 31st, called There's a Ghost in My House. And I didn't produce all of it, but I did a lot of production work on that album, and we're both super proud of it as well. And then I am coming out with an album, I believe November 17th, called Forever and Maybe More. And it is the first album I've done where I am the sole singer and songwriter and producer, all that stuff. Obviously, I have help, but me being kind of the voice of this album that kind of glues everything together. It's my first time really putting out an album like that, and it's been a lot of years in the making of just kind of transitioning from just being a producer to a singer-songwriter, and that one I am probably most proud of because it's so personal. And yeah.
No, I'm excited to hear it, man. That's awesome. This episode comes out the day after the release. So if it comes out, this should be out on the 18th.
All right. Well, go listen to my new album, Forever, Maybe More.
Yeah, everybody check it out. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
man. Really love the music and the tracks and the collabs you've had. Thanks for joining the podcast, dude. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're a super nice guy, and I look forward to hanging out in person soon.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody go check out Louis Futon, aka Tyler. Congrats on being engaged, and looking forward to hearing more.
Thank you, man. That almost threw me off. I'm like, oh my God, I'm engaged. Again, not that that's a bad. If Maya, if you're listening, no, I'm kidding.
He's happy about it.
I am very happy.
It's not a bad thing. It's not bad.
Nah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you didn't hate this episode, please leave a 5-star review. It would help me out a lot. Check back on Tuesdays for new episodes. If you want to be the first to get new episodes and new content, some new packs and downloads and things I'll be sending out, also upcoming events, then join the newsletter. Also, if you want to check out the brand new merch store with some exclusive items, go to abletonpodcast.com/merch. Check out the links in the show notes for all the info on this. Be sure to follow this guest for spending their time on this episode. Give them some love. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. Much love. I'll see you next time. Later.